Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are enjoying the topic that is our environment, right? So this topic has to be enjoyed because it is all about the biotic factors and the abiotic factors, mean the living organisms and non-living organisms and the interaction that takes place between them. Okay, so it is necessary for all of us to know how the interaction takes place, how the ecosystem acts as a important role in the human life. So students, today we are going to deal with the topic that is the same topic, our environment, and today we have already discussed about food chain, so just let us elaborate it and also examples of the growth of organisms. I have two of the examples to show you to make you clear that how the ecosystem, how the cycle runs in the ecosystem or in our environment. Okay, yes, so we have already discussed about the food chain, right? So what is a food chain? Here is a simple diagram which is shown. This is all about the food chain and what exactly happens in the food chain. Okay, so it shows the transfer of energy within an ecosystem. So the chain is nothing but from one organism to other organism, the energy is transferred, right? So we get energy because of plants. That is what the energy is transferred from plants to human beings to other animals, right? So students, this kind of nutritional relationship where the food energy is getting transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level, it is called as what? Food chain. Okay, so in any food chain, who will represent the first trophic level? You might have understood about this now, right? So the first trophic level will be the producers because they produce the food, and the different levels of consumers represent the successive trophic levels. So in an ideal situation, a food chain will have a maximum of 3 or 4 trophic levels, right? So there can be hundreds and thousands of food chain operating in our ecosystem. It is because any given plant can be a food for variety of primary consumers, right? Primary consumers who are the herbivorous animals, right? So many herbivorous animals, variety of herbivorous animals will be dependent on the plant, and each primary consumer in turn can be food for many varieties of secondary consumer. So this is how the chain takes place in our ecosystem. That is, one organism is dependent on the other organism for the energy, for the food, for the requirement of food, right? So you people are also dependent on each other, right? So this is how the ecosystem plays, and this is how you should respect each other. This is nothing but it gives one advice to you that you should never disrespect the other organisms, because one organism is dependent on the other organism and they are the only organisms who pass the energy. So that is why you should take care of single organism that is present on this ecosystem, right? Yes, so energy which is transferred between organisms, these are the organisms from one to other organism, and here the food chain is a simple one, that is, it is a linear series of steps, while a food web, if you say, it is more complex. A food chain exists in only a single part, but food web means all over the world, so it is little bit complex. Okay, so I will show you few of the examples like plants, and I have one example of, yes, this is development of a frog, how the frog gets developed. Have you ever seen that how the frog gets developed, or have you ever thought about it? See, here basically the fertilized eggs of frog will develop into tadpoles. Okay, like when you're born, okay, do you immediately turn into an adult? No, of course not, right? So when you are born, you are a very small baby, isn't it? Then day by day you grow in all sense, mentally, physically you grow, right? So this is how the development takes place in a human body, in human being. Okay, so how the development takes place in frog, that is, there are the fertilized eggs of a frog who will develop into first tadpoles. They are called as what? Tadpoles. Then after undergoing some developmental changes, the tadpoles will grow into the adult frogs. And then in adult frogs, the female frog will soon be ready to lay eggs which will be fertilized by sperm cells from the male frog. And there is another cycle will begin. That is, it will again give rise to the fertilized eggs and it will again develop into the tadpoles. The tadpoles will again develop into the adult frogs, and again the female frog will be soon ready to lay eggs which will be fertilized by sperm cells, right? So this is how the cycle begins, and this is the never ending cycle. If this cycle stops, then there will be no living organism on the earth. Then the ecosystem will die forever, right? So this is how the chain takes place, and this chain has to be continuous chain. It is a never ending chain. Okay, so see, here I have shown the example, that is through the picture you can understand that how it develops day by day. Okay, so it takes so much of time to develop to an adult frog. First the fertilized egg will change into the tadpole through the embryo, then the front legs will break through here. Okay, then they start the pulmonary breathing. They start breathing after some days, and then they get changed into the tadpole frog and finally to the adult frog. Okay, so this is a cycle how it begins. It is a continuous cycle. Okay, yes, now we will see how the germination and growth of a seed plant takes place. Okay, so it is a very important process because they are the producers, they are the whole and soul of the ecosystem, where I feel, because everybody is dependent on the plants, on the crops which are grown in large amount and which are distributed on a large scale for the large population in our country, right? So here they have shown the kidney bean germination. Okay, so kidney bean seed has to be germinated and then it will change into the young plant. So if the seedling is planted in good soil, it will receive sunlight and water, and finally it will become a full grown plant. Okay, so it will flower and bear fruits, and the fruits will mature and the seeds inside will in turn be ready for planting. So this is another cycle where it is ready to begin. Yes, see, here is the example. See, initially the seed has to be germinated over here, then it will change into a small plant and it will grow day by day by using sunlight, water, minerals and nutrients. Then it will grow in a little bigger plant and finally into a tree, right? So this is how the growth of plant takes place. So this is also a cycle where it will again bear a fruit, and the fruits will bear the seeds, and these seeds again has to be germinated, they again has to be carried out for the next plantation, right? So this is how the cycle takes place. Okay, so here is one assignment for you. Here you have to find out, see, you have to find out here who is a secondary consumer in this diagram. Okay, so if you understand immediately, you can answer me in the group. You have to tell me who is a secondary consumer in this diagram. Okay, just observe it. If you understand, I'll not give an explanation. If you have gone through the videos till now, you must understand that who is the secondary consumer in this diagram. You have to recall who are the secondary consumers, definition, and then you can tell me the answer. Okay, yes. So in our next class we will see what are the different types of the food chain. That is, they are classified into 3 major types, and we will learn about this in our next class. Okay, thank you students for watching this.